Welcome everybody, Guts here, bringing you coverage of Transformers Universe. Today we're going to be doing a spotlight on Shellshock, the master of firepower from the Decepticons. We're going to be covering all of his weapons, equipment, and tuning specs, and then jumping into a PvP match to see his abilities in action, so let's get her done. First up here we have the Machina Matata. The Machina Minigun, which is a medium-range shield-based damage weapon. The S-Tech on this is Bullet Burn. This is going to completely obliterate enemy shields and a cone AoE in front of Shellshock. Using this is going to lock you down in place for the duration of the Bullet Burn, so make sure you're aiming in the correct direction before firing this off. I rarely use this on a level 1 S-Tech charge. In fact, I don't really use any of his S-Techs without a level 2 charge that often. A level 2 S-Tech charge on this weapon is almost 100% guaranteed to take down an entire team's shields from 100% to 0%. So if you're not taking a ton of damage, this is pretty much what you should be saving your S-Tech up for primarily. Next up we have the Bismuth minigun. This is another medium-range minigun, but it's spark-based damage. So basically, you're going to be doing a ton of weapon swapping between your two miniguns with Shellshock. Number 1 to take down the shields, and then switching off to number 2 to take down spark. Even when a player is down to spark, I'll switch over to minigun number 1 when number 2 needs to cool down in order to kind of maximize my DPS. The only time I'll wait like a quick second for minigun to cool down is when I've popped my equipment number 6, which lowers the cooldown times of the miniguns, but we'll get to that in a bit here. The S-Tech on this weapon, which seems that people rarely ever use, it's your primary way of turning yourself from insane DPS to a tank pretty much equivalent to mismatch, if not better, as far as damage reduction goes. Popping a level 1 S-Tech is going to give you 38% damage reduction for 5 seconds. And level 2 is going to give you a big whopping 67% damage reduction for an increased duration of 10 seconds. So I always use an augment that gives me 6% damage reduction to shields. So that stacked up with the damage reinforcer power core, you pretty much have the potential of reaching over 90% damage reduction. And when you're at 90%, you're practically taking no damage at all for that duration. You'll notice you'll be taking 1-2 hit points worth of damage every time you're hit, and it's going to be a pain. Even with 4 people focusing on you, they're not going to make a dent in you. So yeah, I mean, backed up with the single healer, Shellshock he's a pretty unstoppable force. Okay, moving on to his cortical axe here, which is his melee weapon, and it's a spark-based damage weapon. You really only want to use this paired up with your equipment number 5 for some pretty devastating damage, which we'll get to that in a bit as well. The S-Tech on this can be very useful as well. It's got a 60% knockdown chance at S-Tech level 1 and 100% at level 2. This is going to affect anyone caught in the close range AoE, but they also have to be extremely close. As you can see, the range on this axe is 1. So it's not too often that you're going to be knocking down multiple targets, but it's possible, and when it does happen, it's pretty damn funny. So let's go ahead and move on to number 4 here, his impediment shells. This is going to apply a 60% slow to your targets on the next minigun attack. So it's best paired up with the equipment number 5 or an immobilization core. The slow isn't always enough to catch a player running, so the immobilized core helps you if you want to become, a total lockdown machine as Shellshock. A pro tip for this ability is to pop this right before you use Bullet Burn, and it will slow everyone caught in its blast. Very effective CC. So number 5, which we're finally getting to here, is Kinetic Extension. Okay, so when you activate this, it's going to increase your damage done with your axe by 25%, or 75% more damage if your target is slowed, immobilized, knocked down, disoriented, or stunned. So it's best used right after you slow someone with your number 4. So you'll slow someone with your impediment shells, then you're going to use a kinetic extension, run up to them while they're slowed, pop the kinetic extension, and preferably even try to knock them down, and then just start wailing on them with your axe. And you're going to see the difference in the DPS with that 75% increase in damage for your axe. So yeah, obviously you want to only use this when their shields are down, because you're only going to be doing spark damage with your axe. Lastly, we got his Perception Matrix. Saving the best for last here. The Perception Matrix is pretty much his best equipment ability, in my opinion. When you activate this, and for the duration, it's going to reduce your minigun cooldowns by 50%, and so long as you're firing a minigun, you and the allies around you are going to be recharging their shields. It's enough heals to prevent you from taking damage, usually, and possibly even gaining shields out of it, depending on how much you're being focused and if you have any damage reduction up on you. Chances are you're probably going to be gaining shields from it, even if you're taking damage. One thing to keep in mind and consider is a damage repair core will in fact work with this, but would only really be useful if you have a destruction cooler as well, so you can kind of use the Perception Matrix back to back if you get a kill and keep yourself healed to full. So yeah, it's a great ability, and I do run the destruction cooler with that, and using that thing back to back can be pretty damn amazing to keep Shellshock alive. So his subsystem is nothing special at all. It's hardly even worth mentioning. It's just Shellshock receives a negative 25% movement speed penalty when firing with a minigun, as opposed to any other bot that receives a negative 50% penalty to their movement speed. So nothing too interesting there. His vehicle. So we got the Gatling gun here. This is a pretty good minigun. It's the same as your bismuth minigun. It's great for chasing people down. It's spark-based damage, and yeah, it's exactly like his minigun, the bismuth one. So the ability that he has here, the pain reprogram, this is going to reduce your incoming damage by 50%. So you know, this just adds to Shellshock's tankiness, because it's great for escaping alive or giving yourself some reduction when you're being focused. But I don't use it for that too often, as I don't really like missing out on all the DPS capabilities that Shellshock has. So, but it's very good for escaping. I usually use it for that, or sometimes I'll even use it as I'm driving into a fight, because more than likely people are going to be shooting at me as I'm trying to drive up on them, come raining hell down on them. But using that as you're coming in is probably a good bet to use that too during that period, because by the time you're even going to try to run out of there, this thing's going to be off a cooldown again for you to use, I'm sure. So it all depends. However, if you want to save it for that moment when you need it the most, then go right ahead. Alright, so now we're done with all that. We can go ahead and move to the tuning and cores here. Alright, moving on to his cores here, we have the upgraded damage reinforcer. This extra 25% damage reduction is going to increase your ability to consistently tank. I really wouldn't swap this core out for anything else. We have the upgraded damage refueler. Needless to say here, more S-Tech is always good. Now, I didn't use this core for quite a long time until I realized how much it's really needed for tanking on Shellshock. Normally I wouldn't have used this because I felt, you know, getting 1-2 charge bullet burn up was enough while playing Shellshock, but I didn't know how much damage reduction he could actually stack up. I've tried playing without this core and it's pretty damn miserable, so I highly suggest keeping this one as well. The upgraded Repair Assaulter. This core I just recently started using because they finally fixed it so that it works off of self-heals. It didn't before. It was bugged for the longest time until a recent patch. So this core is pretty much guaranteed to trigger at least a few times during your matrix shield charging, since it's, you know, a bunch of rapid small heals that you're getting from that. Every tick has a 10% chance of getting you a 25% damage increase, which is pretty damn significant. So I highly suggest this one too. It's been working out pretty well for me. The upgraded destruction cooler. I was on the fence on this one, as his number 4 and 5 really aren't game-changing equipment abilities. But your number 6, the perception matrix, being able to use that back to back to keep your shields up is pretty damn amazing. I think for my last core, when I unlock it, I'll probably be getting the 33% heal increase core. Because in conjunction with this, I'm going to be doing some real solid self-heals and some decent team heals as well. Alright, moving on to his consumables here. Yeah, I've been using the Positronic patch a lot lately on most of my bots. It heals for 280 damage over 10 seconds, whereas the repair patch heals instantly for 240. It's a little riskier, but overall you're regaining more health from it in a game where, you know, 40 hit points could mean life or death. So I recommend those consumables for tanky characters, and you may want to consider the instant repair patch for more squishy type warriors. And lastly, we have his tuning here. I've spec'd mostly into spark damage and split the rest sort of evenly into shield damage, resist, and shield strength. So this may be something I'll tweak down the road, but I'm pretty happy with the results thus far. He already does a ton of shield damage with bullet burn, so I don't see there ever, you know, being a reason to put more into the shield damage that I already have. And in fact, I may consider taking points out of it and put it into shield strength, since he has some pretty naturally high shields. But I think this spec is a very balanced build of damage and survivability for Shellshock. So yeah, so we got the 9 in shield damage, 18 in spark, 10 in shield strength, 10 in resistance. I will be putting my last 2 points into spark damage, and that about wraps it up. So let's go ahead and see Shellshock in action. Let's get her done. Alright, we got ourselves a game here. We got me, Grimbones, Daddytron, and Captain Eagle. I wonder if he's related to Captain Bird. He must be the king of Captain Bird. And apparently they're just sitting up there. Don't know what they're waiting for, but I'm gonna say fuck it. Let's go in. Oh, there they are. My team helping? Okay, now they're coming. Let's just drive on in there. Fuck it, we're Shellshock. We can do it. Yeah, one thing about Shellshock is he's pretty damn slow, so if you're not going to put anything into speed, you're going to be a slow-ass moving tank, like a Shellshock turtle. As you can see, I wiped down their shields there. Let's take down a shield catapult here. And look at that damage. Just obliterates their shields. Your flamethrower ain't shit. Sorry, buddy. I'm gonna axe you. Let me axe you a question. He's gonna get away. It's okay. We got catapult to blow up here. See a lot of switching here between my miniguns. Give the other a chance to cool down. I can still maximize my DPS. Let's use a knockdown. Didn't even work. Yeah, sometimes I've noticed that. Like you got to really be point blank or something for that knockdown to work. It kind of sucks, but you know, it's nice when it does work. But I've noticed probably more than half the time it doesn't. Maybe we'll try it again here to test it out. And there we go. Well, I knocked down one. Let's try to take this healer out. The meltdown's kind of pain. Alright, let's pop my damage reduction here. As you can see, I've taken negative 72% damage right now. I can get it higher than that. We'll see. I think my power core needs to go off for it to get higher than 72. Alright, we got a macro here. Let's finish him up. Switch to spark damage. Nope. Nope. Where'd he go? You bastard. And I hit thin air. That's great. Man, he must have got away with like 1 hit point. Now let's go get the jump on him. Booyah! Better back up. Taking a bit of damage there. Catapult's trying to rate me. Pop on my damage reduction, 73%. Yeah, as you can see, when I get that damage reduction up, I'm taking hardly any damage. Oh, he's dead. Okay, well, I got a healer, so as I said before, Shellshock is pretty damn beefy when I've got a healer. And we're still waiting on Grimbones to get in here. Still 3 versus 3. Oh, Anomaly, huh? Yeah, versus Anomaly, I'll just run like that when he starts popping his cooldowns while he's on top of me. Especially if he's trying to redirect me too. He just stop firing there when he redirects. The best way to deal with him on Shellshock is to use your slow on him. You slow him up like that, it really hinders his plans there of coming up there to redirect you. Die, bitch! They still only have 3 people. Yep. Well, hopefully another one will join here soon so Grimbones can get in. Alright, we got our matrix up right now. As you can see, it's me regenerating my shields here with my teams. Alright, we're going to take out Catapult with Bullet Burn. Look at that. There goes your shields. Goodbye. Slow her up. And axe to the face. And he's done. Done deal. Yeah, you better run. Recharge my buddy's shields here. So yeah, you don't need to have a target to start recharging shields while your perception matrix is up. You just have to be firing a minigun. That's it, and it's gonna recharge shields. Okay, my team decided to run for some reason, so back it up. Oh, let's pop number 4 here. I got some heals coming soon. Alright, let's pop my S-Tech here. Take some reduced damage. Yeah, that's all Shellshock needs, is just pop your number 2, S-Tech fully charged. And if you have a healer anywhere near you, you're going to be at full hit points very quickly. Blow down her shields. Goodbye. And that's it. feel the pain. Yeah, I love Shellshock. Man, his AoE damage is pretty ridiculous. I mean, it's such a wide cone range of damage too. I mean, you know, Swagger can do, you know, pretty effective damage like that too in an AoE, but he's really got to count on everyone being in that circle, and people are always moving around a lot, and the bullet burn just has such a wide cone on it, and the range is pretty damn good too, that you're usually going to hit all of them. Run, Monsoon. Look at him run. Get to the chopper! Do it now! Do it, you bastard! Kill me, I'm right here! Yeah, as you can see, that cone, I mean, they're on top of the building there to my left too, and I still hit them from up top. So, yeah, it's got a pretty wide cone on it. Alright, let's regen some shields for my allies here. Now, dealing with the bubble here, I've got no issues at all against macro as Shellshock. I haven't encountered any problems, really, because you've got so much rapid fire that you're going to be hitting him even if he's got that mischance shield up. Let's finish him off. Almost. There we go. Whoa. What the hell? Oh man, I just noticed that Grimo's in here now, so I finally got 4 people. Look at that, immobilizer, him around the corner. They really need to fix that. When you immobilize someone, it needs to put them in the spot where they got immobilized at, not around the fucking corner. Oh, only 2 more kills to go. Let's do it! Ready to feel the burn? Let's do it. Oh, look at that damage. I think I just creamed myself. Alright, taking some damage here. Get my damage reduction on at 80%. Let's get another bullet burn in here to seal the deal and slow them up. There we go. This annihilates their team. And that's it. Well, that's going to do it for tonight's coverage, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy the content, please subscribe. Please like it, share it. And if you have any questions or comments for me, go ahead and leave it in the comments below. And that's going to do it. So good night, everybody. GG.